Hello, my friends, and welcome to your Reiki session. Today's session is all about moving through dark thoughts. This is one of your requests, so thank you so much for leaving me these requests. It helps me feel more connected to you, helps me understand what you're moving through, so thank you. For this session, we're going to be using some tools, ASMR style triggers, and we'll be doing energetic healing. So whether you're receiving this at night before you fall asleep, or during the day when you're sitting at the office, or whenever it is that you happen to be receiving this session, it's the perfect time for you to receive it, and it will be sent to you with love and support. I'm going to begin by moving through with some selenite. I have these two selenite wands that I'm going to use. Here is one of them. And here is the other. They are great for cleansing and purifying the aura. They're also great for cleansing other stones. The handy thing about that is that they are self-cleansing, so they won't hang on to any of that icky energy. This is a great stone if you are just beginning your spiritual practice. Getting some selenite would be a great way to start. You can always place your jewelry or any new stones that you get or tools on your selenite to help cleanse it. I place my rings on my selenite tower. So it's just a helpful way of just doing some cleansing. Cleansing ourselves and our aura can be really beneficial. Just to help us start from a clean slate. So I'm going to cleanse yours now, starting just above your crown and moving it down. So just allow these two stones to draw out any of that negative energy that might be coming up. And we're going to start above that again, and then come down. Good. This is a nice thing to do regularly, daily, a few times a day, just to cleanse your energy. If you have that midday slump, it's a good thing to do. But I think with this idea of dark thoughts can be so helpful to really start with as clear of a slate as we can, because this subject can sometimes bring up different energies. I'm going to light a little bit of this incense. I'm going to use this flame to set our intention on behalf of your highest, wisest, most empowered and aligned self. In loving comfort and perfect balance, I wish to conduct this Reiki session for helping you heal and move through those dark thoughts. If you'd like to clarify or specify or even set your own intention based on what you're moving through, feel free to use this flame to do so now. And as long as it's in service of your own and everyone else's highest, wisest selves, then I will honor that intention and see it through time and space to where and whenever it's applicable. Gorgeous. There's smoke coming out of the bottom. See, it's coming right here. Okay. So now I'm just going to begin doing a bit of clearing. So, we've set our intention, you've clarified and set your own. And now we're clearing. Now we're just clearing anything that's not serving that intention. See, look. See how it's coming out the bottom? Can you see? So clearing and cleansing, clearing and cleansing. Is there anything you would like to offer up to clear here? Maybe some of these dark thoughts are starting to surface, and you just want to see, is it possible to clear any of those? Is it possible to clear any of those? So just try to release what you can, what you can. Good, 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 good. And these dark thoughts that can creep up on us, they can be really challenging and painful. And sometimes these dark thoughts can suck us down a vortex of negative or fearful energy. And so it's important to recognize what we want, I think. So when I am flooded with dark thoughts, sometimes the reason that I'm more susceptible to them is quite apparent. If I haven't slept well, if I'm hungry, maybe the hunger thing isn't really my trigger, but I know that that's a trigger for a lot of people. Hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. If you're feeling any of these things, stop yourself. Halt. Hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. It's important to just take a minute and just halt, chill out for a sec, see what's going on, get those basic needs cared for. Sometimes, as always on this channel, I would say that these dark thoughts, they can teach us something. So what they might be teaching us is perhaps the areas where we're feeling very insecure, the areas where we're feeling a little frightened, maybe terrified, the areas where we're feeling lonely. So that's the first thing I would say, is to check in with yourself and see what's going on with you. Have you slept? Have you been eating poorly maybe? Maybe you haven't been eating things that really nourish you. Have you been just not taking care of yourself? Meeting your needs? Have you been feeling lonely? Are you feeling particularly irritable or angry? check in with what's going on with you. And then see, maybe you're having these dark thoughts because there's some kind of need that needs to be met that you're not meeting right now. Maybe because you just didn't know that it needed to be met. You didn't know it needed attention. Now these dark thoughts could be part of the North Node or part of your dark night of the soul, which I think we're going to do a session on here soon. So if that's the case, and if you're feeling like these thoughts are coming up a lot, perhaps you're on the precipice of a shift. Can I see your right palm, please? Thanks. So I'm just running it like that, just to clear your palms. Good. Can see your left palm. Good. Again, same thing. Just like that. Good. Good. So, like I said, when we're experiencing anything, it's helpful to look at it as a way of teaching you something, an opportunity to learn something new, to grow. So, if these dark thoughts are coming up, and maybe they're about the world and what's going on, maybe these dark thoughts are fear-based. Those fears that you have. Maybe these are really unkind, kind of critical thoughts. Whatever way these dark thoughts manifest themselves for you, I just want you to know that you're safe to move through them. And if you feel unsafe moving through them, it's so important to reach out to somebody, to speak to somebody. I always leave a life net, like a hotline in the comments, or in the description box, at the bottom of the description box. I think it's just 1-800-LIFE-NET. Yeah, I think that's what the number is. So if that's something, that's a hotline that you can call if you're struggling, and it's free. Mental health kind of hotline. But anyway, I want to just acknowledge that, we don't have to believe everything we think. And what we think isn't always true. These sometimes dark or destructive thoughts can either be the inertia that can push us through, that kind of boost that can push us through a blockage, or they can be the thing that keeps us stuck. If we are just experiencing the same dark thoughts, the same destructive thoughts, then that's not helpful. But if we can use these as a way to gain some momentum and really fling ourselves through this blockage, that's where they can be helpful. And very often these thoughts have to do with what we need and what we are feeling and what we're moving through at that time. So if you're open to it, you can just receive this energy. You can just clear and receive, and you don't have to participate at all. But if you would like to call to mind one of these maybe dark thoughts that you move through, you're safe to do so. I'm supporting you here, but just recognize what happens in your body when you're allowing that to come in. Sometimes I find that when I invite in that dark thought, when I'm in a place, in a state that is very aligned and empowered, that it doesn't have as much of a grip on me. It doesn't have as much of that control over me. The hooks aren't in as deeply. So if you can choose when you're going to parse through it and really examine the thought, and not necessarily examine the thought, but examine what's going on with you while the thought is moving through you. Sometimes when you approach that from a perspective of I'm choosing to go there right now, choosing to dive in right now, that can be really empowering. And it means that you have agency over what's going on, and you can say, I'm going to close the door, I'm going to step away. Almost like you're doing a bit of studying, you're coming in, studying for a bit, and then you know that you have to stop studying and go back to your life, real life, whatever. But that can be helpful just to know that you're holding space for it and that you're strong enough and powerful enough to hold space for it. And through that, you can start to ask yourself questions like, when I'm my favorite self, my highest self, do I believe this thought? If it's a shameful thought, a shaming thought, or a fearful thought, when you're in your most aligned self, do you believe it? Maybe start to ask yourself that. Because sometimes these dark thoughts, they really, we are plaguing ourselves. Like psychological terrorism happening within our own minds. So if we can start to acknowledge what's going on here really, is there something I can do in my full empowerment and agency about this? Or is it something that I need to reconcile within myself and say, I either don't believe this thought, or there's something here that I need to shift within me. Sometimes the shift within is about setting boundaries with yourself, recognizing when you're feeling triggered, even keeping a journal and really saying, okay, I was triggered on this day, recognizing what happened on that day. Maybe there are certain people that you speak to or connect with, and that triggers these dark thoughts. Maybe there are certain things that are happening in your life, or again, like we said, maybe you're hungry or tired. Maybe you're feeling lonely, maybe shame really brings it on. Or maybe that you do something that you feel guilty about and it swings into shame, and then it goes right down into these dark thoughts. Whatever the pattern that you experience is, recognizing the pattern is so important, because then you can start to build a framework with some solid boundaries around what to do and what not to do, so that you don't get into that routine, that kind of mental habit, and just breaking through the blockage, breaking through the habit. But I think that those kind of dark thoughts, that again, if you look at it and say, what is the bigger picture here? If someone was telling me about having this dark thought, what would come up for me? What would I say to them? What advice would I give to them? What would I notice from the outside? Journal is great, because then you can look back on it maybe in a week or two or a month and start to go, oh, I see it. I see either what the pattern is, or, oh, I see what's happening and what's underneath all of this. This fear of whatever happening is really about a deep-seated fear that I'm not good enough, I'm not safe, I don't have enough security. When I look at the reality of the situation, that stemmed from feelings I had as a child, or that stemmed from me losing my job a couple of years ago. Whatever it is that is bringing this on, you can start to kind of look through it and see what's going on. But if we don't look at it and really take the time, it's a hard thing to do when we're feeling really good, is to look at these things, but that's the best time to do it, when you're feeling aligned and empowered and dedicating time to say, you know what? This is going to help my future self, so I'm dedicating myself to this higher, better version of me. I'm going to take this time today to do that. So we're clearing whatever we can here. Again, we're just clearing. Hopefully this can help you just kind of just mull it over, just think about what's going on here. And if the dark thought is related to something, you can take action on these things. If you're recognizing something that you feel needs to change, that isn't changing, that's overwhelming you, I think we always have more agency and more power in a situation than we know. And hope is so important. And so if you can really lean into that and give over to that, I think that can be really empowering for you. I'm going to draw the symbols outside of your heart space now. Good. I'm going to use a few rattles today. I'm going to use this one to move through and shake up anything that can surface that might be coming up here, okay? There's a little bit of tea tree. And some more mist. I want you to just feel nice and supported. That's good. Good. I'm gonna put some oils on my hands, and then we'll do some hands-on healing. Again, this is just a tea tree, a little vitamin E carrier. So allow this healing energy from my palms to flow into your energetic field. Allow it to move to the places that need attention, sending you this healing, loving energy through time and space. Reiki will go where it is needed. It will find the spaces that need to be healed. This energy moves through your body, breaking through blockages, inviting flow and beautiful movement. so much more powerful than you know, so much more capable. Sending this loving energy into your heart space. Sometimes we give too much power to these dark thoughts. Perhaps it might be helpful to think about them as like a somewhat obnoxious younger cousin or something. Someone who really wants attention, which is okay. But maybe we won't say obnoxious, maybe we'll say precocious. Who wants attention, who desperately needs something, and they don't know how to ask for it. So instead, this is the way they've tried to wiggle their way into your line of sight. They've decided that in order to get attention from you, they need to go to these dark thoughts. So if you can try to look at them, this version of yourself that needs that, with the loving and tender eyes of the older cousin who can say, "Oh, I see what you're moving through, honey. Okay, let me see if I can help you." This is part of nurturing yourself, you know? It's all part of it. Good. You are divine. You are connected. You are expressive. You are loved. You are strong. You are creative. You are safe. Thank you so much for joining me. It is such a pleasure to connect with you. I hope that this helps you in some way. And just know that I'm sending you heaps of love and support, okay? Till we meet again, be so well. Sound. Anything like this kind of sounds like a kitten to me. Like a kitten purring. I'm just doing a little bit of balancing and aligning. But how would you suggest that a person achieve the ability to feel that comfortable with people? Not have that
fear or apprehension of being disliked or judged by other people. That always happens when I'm trying to do it like up here. And just repeat the mantra. I release. I am relaxed. I am ready to receive. Amethyst is a really great spiritually aligned stone. It can help with clarity, mental fog, really helps us see soberly. So I'd love to know if you're open to sharing. I can ask here and you can share it down in